Good evening, viewers, and welcome to Sunday Politics on Trust TV. Of course, your trusted platform for insightful analysis on politics, policy, and governance. I'm Hamza Idris. Tonight, we delve into the allegation of 1 billion naira constituency project bribery allegation for each of the 360 House of Representative members by the Tinubu government for the smooth sale of the presentation of the 2025 appropriation bill by the president. An online news platform reported that the alleged 1 billion naira project was considered at an emergency closed-door meeting by the House of Reps leadership to calm frayed nerves wanting to disrupt the budget presentation against the backdrop of the controversial tax reform bills, just as concerns remain over the speedy nature of deliberations on the 2025 appropriation currently at second reading. Recall there was a similar allegation that lawmakers were last year allocated between 300 million and 500 million naira as constituency project allowance after jacking up the 2024 budget by over 7 trillion naira. The recent 1 billion naira constituency project was alleged to have been touted due to growing opposition against the president's ambitious tax reform bills currently before the National Assembly. While some say it is normal to see such kind of legislative lobby by executive branch and any other interest to facilitate critical legislative consideration, others, of course, raised concerns that this could jeopardize service delivery to the people. And of course, to help us dissect some of these issues, we have in the studio Jamilu, Mohammed, an economic and public affairs analyst who had worked at the National Assembly at some time. Welcome to the program, Mala Jamilu.
Thank you. Good evening.
We're happy having you.
Thank you.
And of course, viewers, in the course of the program, we will also open the line for you to also call and share your own views on this controversial 1 billion inducement in form of constituency projects to 360 lawmakers of the House of Representatives. But before we go into the main topic of the program, here are some tidbits. Of course, the Minister of State for Defense, Bola Matawale, says President Bola Tinubu has ordered security agencies to tackle all forms of insecurity in the country by 2025. The minister made the disclosure while addressing the gathering of all Progressive Congress members that welcomed him in Gusau, Zamfara State on Saturday. Matawale said the government was determined to provide all that is required for security operatives to get the job done without further delay. And back in Abuja, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has sympathized with the families and loved ones of those who lost their lives in the tragic stampedes that occurred during food distribution exercise in Ibadan, Abuja, and Okija, Anambra State. In a statement by his senior special assistant, Rabi Ibrahim, the minister says his thoughts and prayers are with the victims, their families, and all those affected by the unfortunate incidents. Mohammed said the tragedies are deeply saddening and underscore the importance of ensuring proper crowd management. And of course, earlier, President Bola Tinubu has also extended sympathies to families of those who lost their lives and also expected and prayed for speedy recovery of those that are in hospital. Of course, the president also shelved some of his planned programs for the end of the year and Christmas celebrations while in Lagos. Once again, welcome to the program. Jamilu, maybe I should start with you on, sad note. Maybe we should take the second tidbit, which is on the condolences by the Minister of Information and the earlier one by the president. You can see, in Abuja, then we had another one in Anambra. We lost quite a number of lives. What is your take?
Well, it's very, very unfortunate. I think we also offer our condolences to the families of the victims and condolences to all of us because most especially these children, they are our children. And I think even if they are to die young, they don't deserve to die the way they died. I think we have a very serious problem about crowd management. Not only crowd management in this sense. I think the whole issue is we don't seem to have a robust program, a robust manual for managing this kind of situations. Somebody will just wake up and say, okay, I'm inviting 10,000 people, just come, and then
10,000, yes.
Yes,
maybe in a room that is
whatever.
meant for.
Of course, there are supposed to be processes. There are supposed to be authorities, agencies involved in planning this. If you plan to do this, you are supposed to go to certain agencies, certain government authorities, and then inform them
clearance
to even get clearance, and then they know what to deploy in order to manage whatever program you want to run. In our own case, I think we do not have that, and unfortunately, when these things happen, they just happen. They will say we've invited so people for questioning and so on, and it will just go like that. That's the end of the conversation. Now, the families of the victims now are not even going to be compensated, because life, precious life, in any law in this world, precious life, if you take life out of a human being, you are supposed to compensate.
And that's clearly stated in the Constitution and other books. Yes. But talking about doing the needful, many Nigerians believe that in the first instance, if things are normal, you won't even subject your children or even adults to go and start struggling just to get maybe a cup of rice.
Yes, the situation is critical. Let me put it that way. We are in a very critical situation. Not only hunger, but there is uncertainty. You see, the fact that people are hungry is one thing, but there is also uncertainty on when are we going to solve this particular problem. And there is hopelessness in people. People don't seem to be hopeful about what will happen tomorrow. And so what is happening now is, in Nigeria, I think by what is happening, we are supposed to be above this particular level of hunger that we
should be above this.
We are above that.
Going by the enormous
potentials we have. In fact, potentials, resources, even the wealth. You see, sometimes we would have potentials and the wealth would not be there. Yes, I understand that kind of. But in our own case, it's not only the potentials. We even have the wealth, because there are potentials that already have been harnessed, processed, and then turned into wealth. This enormous wealth. Look at what we were discussing about the budget. You see, some, allocations that are very questionable.
Which is actually the main topic of the discussion. But then finally on the this stampede that we are witnessing, what do you think government must do?
Government must profile incidences, the incidences in the past. Look at what happened, and then government should come up with a robust plan about how to handle this kind of emergency issues. In the first instance, how do we even call 10 people to a place to say they are going to meet or run a certain program? I think all these things, government should come out with basic plans about how people, 10, 20 people will come together to say we are going to meet here or we are running a program here, and so on and so forth. So people would have to be sensitized that you won't just come and start saying we are going to run a program just like that. And then try to punish culprits. Because when things
we even
happen
have
like
a queen
this,
among the latest incident.
Well, it's unfortunate. We don't. Right now, I won't be able to say what actually happened. Yes,
but it's an unfortunate incident.
But
closely related, Jamilu, to this is promises and disappointments on the side of government. Look at the Minister of State for defense, saying that President Tinubu has given a marching order that insecurity of all shades must end by 2025. And 2025 is just 10 days away from now. Well, I don't know whether next year, by this time when we are holding this program, we will not be talking about insecurity. Why I'm saying this is because most of these victims of these stampedes, they were pauperized by the attitude of government towards security. Many of them are farmers. Yes. They can take care of their children. Yes. They can till their farm if the place is secure. But most farmlands are insecure. So parents, children, and all of that are now at the mercy of donors who give them peanuts, who give them, leftovers, just to say that this is food for you. Should we trust the minister?
You see, there's a lot of, let me say there's a loss of confidence amongst people in government programs. It's so unfortunate. So it's very difficult to trust what the minister is saying.
So maybe some people don't even take what he said seriously.
Of course, people will
maybe
not take it seriously.
Maybe he said it for the spur of the moment.
If it is so, after 10 days now, or roughly about that, what happens if insecurity still remains? Who should we hold responsible?
Ordinarily, he should resign.
Ordinarily.
Or he should be asked to resign.
Yes.
Because they made similar, when they took over and when they were appointed, we have all what they said on the record.
Yes.
They said, even before the end of 2023, right?
Yes.
That insecurity will be a thing of the past. Exactly. But look at the drama we witnessed last week when the National Bureau of Statistics released the figure of
very staggering figures.
People that lost their lives due to insecurity. At a time when heads of security agencies, including the National Security Advisor, saying that insecurity has
diminished.
It has gone, and I don't know.
Well, as I said, the problem is these are words of mouth. That's how they will come, they will tell us this, and at the end, things will not happen, things will fizzle out. The next thing, another incident happens, then they will still come out and say something, and we'll put it at the back, and this is how we continue. It's a terrible thing. One of the things is that I actually blame particularly our civil society organizations. You see, these are organizations that are supposed to be in between the general populace and government. They are supposed to take the voice. They are supposed to be the voices of.
But beyond backing, beyond using us, the media, to amplify the threats and the problem, what can they do? Don't you think maybe a president is just like maybe a chairman of a local government? Well, if he made some promises and then his councillors, maybe councillor of agriculture, councillor for health and all that, they are unable to deliver, what should he do?
Of course.
I think you should sack them, right?
There are social and political pressures. Or he should
call the people in his wards to recall him. There are processes
and all that.
There are
processes, I understand. Yes, that's why I say these are civil society organizations are supposed to be involved. They are supposed to put pressure on the system. It's not on, you see, yes, I agree the press has a leverage to kind of put pressure. And most of the pressures of the press is in terms of talking. But the civil society
organizations, because we keep reminding them that, okay, so time, this is what you said, but this is where we are.
But civil society organizations can go political, can even go legal.
And they can also demonstrate.
They can even demonstrate.
Which is
go
allowed
legal, go political, and so on. They have so many leverages, and they can coordinate with the press, give us information about this, and then this is what we are going to do. But these things are not there. In our own case, if you don't go, if you don't use the pressures, if you think talking alone, in fact, whatever happens, I have learned a lesson in Nigeria. If this is your own and you keep it like this, it will take the grace of God to take it back.
Unfortunately. And finally on this, there are allegations that most of these civil society organizations are also ready to hire enterprises. You can call them today, Jamilu, to come and demonstrate in front of Daily Trust that maybe we didn't host you well or whatever. And tomorrow we can also hire them, the same people, and they can rebel against you.
Yes, I understand. Our problem still remains, maybe, should I say, the intellectualization of the processes, like the civil society organizations. Demonstrations, I don't think demonstrations actually yield a lot of results. But when people say, okay, we are going to court, for instance, you go to court, challenge, the pressures mount, not only legally, socially, politically, the pressures mount. And sometimes government or the people perpetrating certain crimes or errors against the populace, they have to back down.
All right.
I think we need those pressures.
All right, that is it on, of course, the stampedes and then the promise by the Minister of State for Defense. Now, the biggest elephant in the room, 1 billion per legislator, allegedly, Jamilu.
Yes.
I'm trying to compute 360, 1 billion times 360, that is almost 360 billion for members of the House of Representatives. You think something like this can happen?
It can. In Nigeria, I believe. It has been. You see, we've been having it progressively. Remember, since around when this particular democratic dispensation,
the
Fourth Republic came in, we started having, saying, ministers or minister nominees bribing members of the National Assembly
for them to be cleared.
For them to be cleared.
And some to just take a bow.
There was a time a lot of money was spread on the
floor of the
hallowed chamber. You know, prominent people, somebody like El Rufai came out publicly to kind of accuse the legislators
of asking him
so
to induce
them, you see, and so on. So unfortunately, because nothing was done, there was a progressive increase of the incidences. So if they say 1 billion today per legislator, I won't be surprised. We are not saying it happened. It's an accusation. It's an allegation, I think. But by what is happening, I believe it is very possible on the Nigerian soil for such a thing to happen.
And viewers, to set the record straight, since Friday we've been pushing to get the leadership of the House of Reps, including the Senate, and even some members, to come on this program to defend themselves, to no avail. We also made efforts up till this evening to get somebody among the spokesperson of the president to come and defend these allegations, to no avail. They don't want to speak about it, and that is why we will open the floor for you later in the course of the program for you to ask questions. Maybe tomorrow they will agree to feature on this program. Now, Jamilu, some are saying, looking at the way the president was cheered, they even, sang the national anthem when he entered, and he said, okay, the 11th legislature,
National Assembly.
Yeah, and then when they say no, it's 10, he said, you are all elected. Can we say that we don't have 3 tiers of government now in Nigeria, going by the way they are in bed collectively?
Yes, check and balances have for a very long time have not been in the system. And I think by what happened between the presidency, or let me say, the presidency and then the National Assembly, you saw all along this particular dispensation, all along, I think there has been a lot of, or there have been a lot of allegations about how cozy the relationship between the National Assembly and the president or the executive is. Well, we are not saying that the National Assembly should be fighting the presidency, but I think there are certain cock stops that the National Assembly should be putting in, because we can't say every other government program is pro people. We cannot say that. I can give instances. this particular issue of tax reform.
Yes.
Is it that people should work for government or government to work for people? If you say you are collecting high taxes from people, it means people are working for government.
And it is clearly,
but
some people who scrutinize the budget document, they are coming out with mind-boggling findings, apart from even the figures, which we will try and analyze. But this tax reform that we're talking about, part of the way they will generate the money is to jack up the VAT to from 7.5% to 10%, as part of the projections to now raise the money to fund the budget. Meaning that whether Nigerians like it or not, whether the northern governors, whether the traditional rulers, because even the southeast leaders, they said, look, subject this to more consultations. But it's like they have already sealed this.
The very moment they sealed it, it's not even about looking for money to fund the budget. That is not it. The very day they sealed it is when they said, we want to raise the tax to GDP ratio of Nigeria. That was the very day they sealed it. The present ratio is about 9%. Tax ratio to GDP is about 9%. They just came out, the government just came out and said, okay, we want to get 18%. On which basis? I don't understand. Show us the empirical or scientific formula you use to arrive at 18. Why not 12%? Why not 15%? Why not 20%? Why not 35%? Why 18? There is no empirical, it is not data driven.
So meaning
somebody just woke up from sleep and said, okay, we want to achieve 18%. Why? Under normal circumstances, let us understand what tax is. Tax is a social contract levy between the society and the government, that we are now loyal to this government.
That's why we are paying.
That is why we are paying
if
tax.
There is no loyalty,
government has no reason raising revenues from taxes.
It should look for other options.
But maybe
do you think it will have its way? Especially now, going by the fact that when the legislators told the president that, look, we are 10th legislature, not 11. He said you are all elected. Can we say this is akin to automatic tickets to all of them?
Politically, it may be so. But I think
even though he said it jokingly,
he said it jokingly, he was only trying to cover his missteps. There was a misstep in his statement.
Like during maybe his inauguration, he said he did dobale when he fell.
Exactly.
And it was.
So I think it is something like that. But politically, these politicians, they will follow it up with him.
That you
met this promise and you have to fulfill it. And in Nigeria, unfortunately for us, people seem to see a lot of glamour in political seats. So if a politician on a seat says A, everyone will just follow. It does not matter whether it is right or wrong.
Okay, Jamilu, now putting three things together. Number one, the figures they mentioned during the presentation of the budget. It's actually different from the figure mentioned by presidential spokespersons later on Wednesday. They gave that was when they announced 48 or 49.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Now, if you put these two, earlier in the day, this was the figure they put, and then later additional 2 trillion or thereabout. Now, with the promise, of course, using jokes to tell them that, okay, you are going to have it. And the allegations that the legislators will also actually shout, or they will actually not allow the president to present the budget. Because there were pillars here and there that they will not allow him to present the but immediately he entered, it became a very calm atmosphere and all that. Who should we trust now between the presidency and the legislators?
I said there is a loss of confidence in the general Nigerian governance system. So in that respect, there is no one to trust as far as these issues are concerned. You see, I think the issue is not that of whether people are telling lies or people plan to a kind of cheat Nigeria or something of that nature. That's not the issue. I found out that there's a lot of mediocrity in the system, a lot of mediocrity. That's why you even, in the first instance, that's why you would have these different figures. You see, when I was reading through the budget, I was surprised that I could find even Ministry of Sports having its own budget on
the ministry that has been scrapped.
A ministry that has been scrapped, and you can see Niger Delta Development Commission is still there on the budget. So you can see the kind of mediocrity in the
Some
system.
say it's why they that is actually copy and paste. Maybe they take the last document, maybe the document of 2016 or 2017 to now just change the figures.
In the National Assembly, I once came across a document, a bill that was directly copied from another country. And unfortunately, word by word, they were just removing the name of the country and then putting Nigeria.
Maybe Yugoslavia.
Unfortunately, I don't want to mention the country anyway.
Yes.
But unfortunately, there were 3 places where they forgot, or maybe their eyes did not see the name of that country.
Maybe God wanted to catch them.
And it
wanted
was
to
there.
catch
I saw it. It's there. And when I went on research, I got the bill of that country and then compared it with this one. It was word for word.
And I don't know whether it scaled through at the end of the day.
It didn't, anyway. It didn't actually.
Okay,
but I'm only trying to show you how some of us work. Of course, you have very excellent people in there. Honestly, I have met very excellent legislators.
While there, still on this 1 billion. 1 billion is huge. When we were growing up, they said if you have 1 billion in your account, meaning even if you will be spending 1 million, you will age before you will spend it. Yeah. Can we now conclude that what is happening as far as budget allocations are concerned, they are meant to favor the elite at the detriment of the poor?
Well, normally the elites are supposed to be the ones doing the work. Of course, if you have the National Assembly, you have people elected. That's why before electing these people, you say you have you give certain criteria. Somebody would have to be educated to so level and so on and so. These people are supposed to be the ones running the system, right? But they are supposed to run the system on behalf of the poor. But when it comes to them, instead of them allowing it to trickle down, they withhold.
They corner everything.
They corner everything.
And are you worried with the speed by which the budget document passed first reading and then it got to second reading in both chambers of the National Assembly? Because the president presented this document on Wednesday. By Thursday, it has reached second reading, and they close and move on. They said, okay, January or whenever.
It is the tradition of our leaders in Nigeria. Budgets, they don't actually technically, intellectually debate budgets. Our legislators don't do that. What they simply do is it comes and then there is a backdoor negotiation. They finish the negotiation and then they come and say, okay, let it go. That's just it. But if they have to bring the items, sit down and look at the items, and then try to debate.
And that is budget harmonization, right?
When you find them debating, is when they have their own interest. Yes, I want so thing included. And then the budget comes from presidency. Somebody finds out that his own project is not included. Then he starts saying,
why do you think you worked at the National Assembly before? Why do you think when they want to launder their image or the image of the president, when you invite them, they rush to your studios? But on a situation like this, when you say we want you to come and defend this allegation, everybody, they don't want to talk.
The media would have to look for the finest in them. If you say you are just looking for the crowd, you won't get. You would still have the finest within them who would come and say, okay, I am ready to defend this. But when you throw the thing open to their own public, let's say so, nobody would come.
Of course, we look for those who we believe. I don't want to call name. I personally have had the producers of this program and even some of our senior colleagues here. They made all these attempts to bring them. Now, I'm sure maybe Nigerians will have the opportunity to ask them and maybe to force them to feature on the program. But there are some provisions which I want to mention. For instance, there's 180 million for animals in the villa. And then there is, of course, 124 will be spent on wildlife conservation, while another 54 million was allocated for conservation stroke upgrade of villa ranch and construction of wildlife conservation capture. I know that in last year's budget, I saw something like this. Even during Buhari, I have seen this kind of allocation. Of course, we will be forgiven, or they will be forgiven, because animals must also eat. But the kind of allocation being given to a number of animals that simply live in the villa.
I am one of those who believe that Nigeria is not only rich but very wealthy. I am one of those who believe that. My concern, when people complain that we have over-bloated budgets, our budgets are too expensive and so on, I don't believe that. My own problem is, if you will give 180 million to feed animals, why can't you give, even if it is 90 million, to build a primary school? That's just my concern. If you like, give those animals 180 million.
And you can see they are displaying some of these
staggering figures. So I think the issue is inefficiency. Try to be very efficient about your allocations. And it does not matter if you want to corner a chunk of it or a part of it.
And going by the release by the NBS, you know, looking at the number of people killed. Now look at defense there, Jamilu, 11.7%, while health 7.1, and then education 10.1.
No, I think.
Can we say it's a balanced budget?
Well, there has always not been any balanced budget. You see, the priority now, what the government is trying to tell us is the priority is security. They are trying to secure the country.
But why are we doing the same thing over time? In the last 10 years, in our newspaper section here, we did a report a few days ago showing how consistently the defense sector is guzzling the large chunk of the national budget. And then when we spoke with some experts, they said it's misplacement of priority.
The
defense, I mean, when you say defense, there are many ways that you can protect the citizens.
Exactly.
Even food security.
Of course.
Assuming now you channel the money, of course, to agriculture, and then you see what you earmarked.
Critical infrastructure. Provide critical infrastructure. A lot of these insecurity issues will fizzle out.
Why are legislators closing their eyes to some
Well,
of this?
I think...
Is it the 1 billion that we've been asking questions about?
Well, that 1 billion, I think, is just a small piece
by the
of
way.
it. It's by the way. There are a lot of ways they lobby, they negotiate about these things. Some of them genuinely will negotiate and will deliver. But
if they get it, it's not actually, we're not saying that this 1 billion is for them to, but it is in constituency project.
Yeah, exactly. Well, in some instances, if you have this 1 billion, possibly you will say efficiently, the kind of money efficiently that will go into the system would be around 350 million. The rest will just balloon into the air, and you won't know what happened to it.
All right,
so,
Jamilu. Yeah.
So I think by and large, the problem is not only that of, say, corruption, but there's a lot of mediocrity in the system. Most of them are incapable of doing the right thing.
All right, thank you. Well, viewers, it is now time for you to also call and contribute to this very, very important topic. 1 billion naira constituency bribe to 360 members of the House of Representatives. Of course, allegedly. We want to hear your take. What should they do with the 1 billion, considering the fact that there was no rancor during the presentation, meaning that it should be a win-win for the two parties. But when you call, please don't use foul language. Go straight to the point and don't take much of the time, because we want to accommodate as many interests as possible in the course of the program. And of course, we have the first one. Hello, welcome to the program.
Good evening, Hamza Idris.
This must be Shamaki from Nasarawa.
Yeah, it's Shamaki talking.
Okay, happy to have you as the first caller today. And let's have your take. Yes. 1 billion naira for legislators.
Jamilu Mohammed once again.
Yes.
Good evening, Malam Shamaki.
Yeah, thank you very much. I heard all what you said. You see, to me, it's like we are going to have another second budget padding. In fact, so many atrocity is going at that Hello chamber. It's the same case happened when Farouk Lawal was House of Reps. I think there was allegation he collected bribe. I mean, is it almost a 1 billion?
But Shamaki, you know, you are just making an allegation, right? Clearly.
Yeah, no, I said that is the same thing when happened during Lawal Farouk.
Okay. Even though his one had to do with
similar case like this, he collected the bribe.
It was a committee set off, during Farouk Lawal. Of course, he's out of prison. It was allegation that, you know, of course, he was bribed to favor one of the oil cartels. Yes. Okay. Continue.
Yes, of course. So now with this budget that was being passed by Mr. President, now we are seeing that there is a bribery allegation in the House of Reps. So you see, that's why I said so many atrocity is going on there. So the presidency should watch this thing very well, because we don't want to have another second pardon during Buhari time. In fact, the country is in serious dilemma. So they should do something what a common man can be able to benefit. People are suffering. Look at what just happened 2 days back or 3 days back. People that are as a result of collective palliative. It's very, very unfortunate. It is not good for us seeing this kind of thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Shamaki. He said the president should be wary, because, you know, maybe this is just the first layer. You know, it's a ritual now, Jamilu. I don't know whether you are also getting worried. And Atiku issued a statement this evening saying, of course, the budget is a continuation of business as usual, you know, in fiscal practice. And he made a lot of findings from it. For instance, saying, even the claim that the budget had, the 2024 had, is it 80-something% performance? He said it's not true, it's 34. But before you say something, I will take the second caller on the program. Hello, welcome to the program.
Hello.
Yes, hello, welcome. Can you please reduce the volume of your TV set so that we can hear you?
Yes, hello. Can you please reduce the volume of your TV set so that we can hear you? Okay, yes. Can you hear me now, sir?
Very well, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to take my take is on that of Mr. Atiku Abubakar. Yeah.
Where with you?
Sorry, I'm calling from Delta State.
Okay, the name? Oh, sad. He wanted to mention his name. Unfortunately, we lost the call, but hopefully he will call back. But we have another one, Jamilu. Sorry. Hello, welcome.
Hello.
Yes, who is on the line?
My name is Zakari Mohammed, calling from Abuja.
Okay, Mr. Zakari, welcome to the program. 1 billion allegation against 360 members of the House of Representatives.
Is it not funny? The fact that it is called a bribe in itself is not comfortable for Nigerians.
Even though it's an allegation.
It is an allegation, but look at it, it's boldly written, and they've not denied it. You see, while we are saying there should be a total fight against corruption, what we are seeing is the representative of the people who is trusted to defend the cause of the people. If in any way I engage in this, Nigeria is finished. Therefore, it is important for all Nigerians to speak against this. The fact that it is called a bribe in itself is not healthy for this country. And it is something that we all together must have to condemn. The second aspect of this is that I watched keenly the presentation of the president's budget speech at the National Assembly. If you watch what happened, while the Senate president, after delivering his speech, was full of commendation for the president, Nigerians were keenly waiting for the House Speaker, who, of course, we trusted to be the one to speak for the masses, supporting clearly what the position of the Senate president. Believe me, we are not too comfortable with this representative of the people. So I call on Nigerians to speak against this. If in any way what is happening is itself a bribe. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you very much, Zakaria. Over to you before. I want you to say something. You can see,
well,
he said Nigeria is finished.
Yes, people have been saying this. Yeah, our problem is, I think Madam Shamaki and then Zakaria, see, they were echoing about the president. The problem of Nigeria is actually beyond a conventional political president as we have it now. The problem is beyond that. The problem is in the system. We do not have institutions, highly nurtured institutions, to be running our systems. What we have is a collection of individuals running the system. So in this respect, if you do not have a complete professional in running the system, you always have the problem. I've always said it. If you have somebody like, say, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, a successful, should I say, businessman. He was an administrator in Lagos, but I don't think that should be the yardstick to measure his performance in Nigeria.
All right, can we say the problem we are facing now emanates from the formation of the 10th Assembly, going by the fact that the president actually chose the people he wanted to be there, and they don't seem to be vibrant compared to the 9th Assembly.
That is what I'm saying. That's why I say it's not the president, the whole system. The system is to be, the blame goes back to the system. These people, whatever the president would do is simply right. In this instance, the president said, okay, if you are talking about the 1 billion naira allegation, if they collect the 1 billion naira, would it offset the problems that are in the budget that they were ready to oppose? Would 1 billion naira offset
That's a big question, Jamilu. Okay, maybe the caller that we have on the line will answer this. Hello, welcome to the program. Yes, who is on the line?
Hello?
Hello, we are with you.
Okay. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I'm James from Kaduna.
Okay, James, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead, yes.
Please, I just want to find out, there are some things, I'm not a politician, I'm a pastor.
Okay.
Some certain things. If there is agreement, maybe in presentation of the budget.
Okay, go ahead.
Does it mean that it should be a bribe? And in another word again, and if it is a bribe, let it be confirmed before we can conclude that it's a bribe.
All right, you see, Pastor James, let me make something clear. Let me make something clear, James. Let me.
And we know that it's basically based. Okay.
Yes.
I'm hearing you.
Yes. Maybe before you join the conversation, you are not there when I made it clear that we made efforts to bring people from the Senate or the House of Representatives to come and clear this allegation. And we said it clearly that it is an allegation. And we also tried to bring people around the president, but they're all, parried the whole thing aside. They didn't come. And that is why we said, okay, we are taking them to the court of public opinion. And we said it's an allegation in form of constituency project. So you can go ahead and make your point, please.
Okay. Yes, you have already said that is a very good point. You have made a good step. So let them be shoot to the court and let them explain themselves. If they are called at least to express themselves and they couldn't, it means they are actually involved in such.
All right. Thank you. Yes. All right. I think you have made your point, Pastor James. Thank you. Yes.
So let it be that. Hello?
Yes. Finally, just make the final point. Yes.
Please.
We are run out of time.
So, because if we are overlooking all these things, they are dealing the whole Nigeria. They are fooling the whole Nigeria. And so we have to take action on this issue so that those people, even for him to be boldly say, you are all elected.
All right.
Is it they want to elect people? Is it not the public that's supposed to elect people?
All right.
So they are not trustworthy.
All right.
So their constituency should not elect them. By God's grace, they will not be elected.
Thank you. Thank you. And I just give you 30 seconds or 10 seconds, Jamilu, to wrap up. What do you think should be done so that we can move forward in Nigeria?
Well, moving forward, I think we need a lot of restructuring of our systems. And we have to start that organically. All our organs of government, we have to restructure them. I think this is just my own point at this. Government has become a kind of day-to-day business. What happens today will happen tomorrow. And nobody cares about a kind of reform.
All right. So we hope we get it right. Thank you very much, Jamilu Mohammed, Economics and Public Affairs Analyst, for coming to the program and helping me to digest some of the issues raised by our.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and for those who tried to call and could not make it, try your luck next week. And thank you all for joining us on Sunday Politics. Next week is another week where we will come up with another interesting package of Sunday Politics. But tomorrow it's going to be Daily Politics on Trust TV. Don't miss it, because we'll come with another interesting topic. For now, thank you for being with us. I am Hamza Idris.